Since WrestleMania is over, it's time for the Raw after WrestleMania. What is up, guys? Chase Oliver here, bringing you my WWE Monday Night Raw review. Now, I'm just going to tell you guys right now, I'm kind of feeling a little bit under the weather. If you guys don't know, kind of been battling with some sickness. And so tonight, I'm not really going to be editing my videos. I'm just going to talk about Raw in general, kind of like smooth flow it, just like the old school Chase Oliver reviews. So let's get started and talk about some of the major points that happened on Raw tonight. First off, I kind of like what they did with the mid-card titles tonight. There's nothing game-changing to me yet. I still have to wait and see. Because, see, I'm not one of those wrestling fans that, like, you know, one thing happens and it's like, oh, my God, they're changing everything. The fourth wall is broken. But I did like that, you know, they gave both the champions title matches here tonight and both long respected matches that were pretty good to watch. The Intercontinental title stuff, it still feels the same to me. You know, the Intercontinental title, you know, people are talking about how, oh, now the belt has more prestige and all this stuff. It's like, look, they still were like the second segment of the show. They're still kind of doing the same crap they were doing with the IC title before Daniel Bryan held it. Wait a couple months and let's see what they do afterwards. But I'm finally glad Sheamus came back and he finally turned heel. It's about damn time we got heel Sheamus onto the show. I mean, really, to be honest. Sheamus, whether you like him or not, the dude can play a really good heel. And he's a pretty damn good worker that, you know, deserves opportunities in the WWE. So for me personally, I'm happy Sheamus turned heel. So I cannot wait to see what they do with Sheamus. Most likely feud with Daniel Bryan for that IC title. The US title stuff, I thought it was fine, you know, with John Cena and Dean Ambrose. I was kind of surprised it was actually Dean Ambrose to come out. You know, I was expecting, you know, maybe an NXT guy to come out, but then again, I would say that was useless. Maybe expecting, you know, Cockfist to come out because I was watching the show and I was like, where the fuck is Cockfist? He hasn't been featured whatsoever on Raw. But it ended up being Dean Ambrose. And Cena and Ambrose put on a good match. And later in the night, Rusev got his win over Goldust. So they're trying to rebuild that, you know, Cena and Rusev tension by Extreme Rules. The one thing I also like about the Raw after WrestleMania shows is the debut of new talent. And we got a debut of two new talents. Kalisto finally made his way to the main roster. He was thrown in an 8-man tag match, but it was pretty much a Kalisto showcase match where he showed off what type of moves that he can do as a luchador. Definitely very exciting. Not as good as, let's say, Rey Mysterio's debut back in SmackDown in 2002, but definitely a fun, exciting debut, and they got to show off what Kalisto can do. So let's hope that the WWE just doesn't bury Kalisto too much in the tag team division. I really think Kalisto, as an act and as a character, will work so much better solo. So let's just hope that soon enough they start building up Kalisto as a solo act, because, you know, the Lucha Dragons, they're a fun tag team, but really, to be honest, not really my favorite tag team of them all. And I think Kalisto should be working more as a single type of superstar. And then we got another debut of a superstar I really like. You know, I get called on here on YouTube a muscle mark because I like a lot of the big wrestlers. But I do like my fair share of smaller wrestlers. And one of them is Adrian Neville. Whoops. I mean, just Neville now. So Neville made his debut, and he squashed Axelmania, brother. And it was a fine debut. My only problem is this. Really, just Neville? Neville is his name? Oh, come on, WWE. Come on. What was wrong with Adrian Neville? Adrian Neville, that's smooth. That sounds nice. Just Neville? Oh, that's not a good ring name. That's a terrible ring name. Seriously, keep the characters that they have on NXT. Stop removing their full names. Their full names are actually pretty decent. I mean, seriously, I don't want freaking Sami Zayn to come up to the roster and he's just named Sammy. I don't want Kevin Owens to come to the roster and his name is just Kevin. I don't want Finn Balor to come to the roster and his name is just Finn. I don't want Sasha Banks to come to the roster and her name is just Banks. Keep their full names. Adrian Neville was a good name. Just Neville? Oh, God, that's kind of rocky if you ask me. But I'm glad that he's finally making his way to the main roster. He truly deserves it. I think Neville is one of the more underrated talents when it comes down to it. And what I mean underrated is, like, you know, a lot of people just view Neville as like a guy that just goes up there and does flips and shit. But I think he's an overall performer. I don't think a lot of people give credit to Neville for that. I don't think they give credit to him being an overall performer inside of the ring, not just some guy who goes up to the top rope to do one cool move. I think he's much more than that, so hopefully he gets that opportunity in the WWE. And as long as he can stay away from becoming John Cena's new best friend character on television, he should be fucking good. What else happened on this Raw that I want to talk about? There was a lot. Oh yeah, let's talk about our former WWE Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar, because tonight they just turned Brock Lesnar into the #1 babyface of the company. That's what they pretty much did. They made Brock Lesnar look like a legit badass here tonight. Yeah, Brock Lesnar was already over at the start of the show. He wanted his heavyweight title rematch tonight. Seth Rollins, comes out. He doesn't want to really face Brock Lesnar. He has some jet lag after doing the Today Show. Brock Lesnar's like, no, fuck you, bitch. We're going to actually wrestle a match. Seth Rollins runs and hides, and Brock Lesnar just destroys everything in sight in such an enjoyable segment. I actually love this. This was fun to watch. Brought me back to, the old school days when I was watching wrestling, when they would just destroy everything. It was just carnage. It was just chaos. It was great. Michael Cole sold that F5 like a champ. I got to give Michael Cole props there, man. He had his shoe come off and everything. I loved it. And that cameraman, whoever that NXT talent is, you did a good job too. But what I liked about this segment was it was a good way to, kind of turn Brock Lesnar babyface. I mean, let's face it, the fans were already cheering him, but WWE writing is finally making him a babyface. It was a good way to turn Brock Lesnar into a babyface, with as well writing him off television, because, as much as we would love Lesnar to be a person, to show up on the shows each and every single week and be a character that stays on every single week, he's not. He's a part-timer. He only shows up when he needs to show up, when the WWE wants to pay him that big money that he's making. So pretty much they are suspending him indefinitely, so which means by SummerSlam time we'll see Brock Lesnar come out and do his little thing again. So that was pretty good stuff. And I love Stephanie's backstage segment where she was all like, I own that son of a bitch. I love that. That was great shit. Good stuff to get heel heat onto Stephanie tonight. I feel like I'm missing something from this Raw. Oh yeah, the Divas also had a long tag team match. I get it. A lot of people are happy the Divas are getting this big opportunity. But these long matches, I don't know, man. I don't think that's what the Divas are missing. I think these Divas are missing characters that I can give a shit about. But I am happy that Naomi's getting a repush. I like Naomi. She's one of my favorite Diva wrestlers. And I've been saying it for like over a year now that this girl should be a Divas champion. So I'm glad that she's getting a repush. And I think I covered all the stuff that I really, really want to talk about before I started talking about the main event stuff. Yeah, I did. Okay. Talked about the mid-card, talked about the debut. So let's talk about the main event stuff now between Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. It is obvious that Randy Orton is going to be facing Seth Rollins for the title at Extreme Rules. If not, they might throw Cockfist in there as a triple threat. I liked how they kind of teased it here tonight. And the main event six-man tag match, even though it was mostly just a crowd chanting a bunch of random stuff instead of focusing on the match, it was decent. It wasn't anything special. The only thing I loved was that my dream team of wrestlers were together in a team. I mean, come on. You guys know by watching on this channel, the wrestlers that I love the most, Ryback, Randy Orton, and Cockfist, all on the same fucking team. Oh, I was doing the Orton pose, the Feed Me More, and the fucking Cockfist all day long. It was awesome to see my three boys in a tag team like that. The Trace Oliver dream team. That was fucking awesome to watch. They took on Seth Rollins and Big Show and Kane. Who gives a fuck about Big Show and Kane? But yeah, Team Orton won, of course. The Chase Oliver boys won the match. And pretty much Seth Rollins didn't get pinned because why would you hurt your new WWE Heavyweight Champion? So pretty much this week's episode of Raw, it was a good episode. But for a Raw After Mania episode, I felt like something was missing. I really did. I was like sitting there watching this episode. I'm like, it's flowing really well. It's an enjoyable episode, but there's something missing from it. And it's just like, Sting. Okay, Sting's going to talk on the network. Maybe this was something missing. Well, after watching Sting talk on the network, that wasn't missing from Raw. Fucking Bo Dallas. Damn. But it just felt like there was something missing from this week's episode of Raw. Because normally the Raw after WrestleMania, you get that big moment. That moment where you're just like, holy shit, that just happened. Think about after WrestleMania 27. We got The Rock and John Cena announcing once in a lifetime at WrestleMania 28. That was the big moment for that Raw. After WrestleMania 28, we got the return of Brock Lesnar as he S5s John Cena. After WrestleMania 29, we had Ryback turn heel onto John Cena. After WrestleMania 30, the Shield turned face to help Daniel Bryan keep the title. This point, it was like, what was that big moment? There was no Triple H on the show, which surprised the fuck out of me. I figured we were going to kick off Raw right with a long 30-minute overdrawn Triple H promo of how he is the fucking best. But we didn't even get a Triple H sighting here tonight. It just felt weird. I mean, you would figure, Triple H would want to do something, like not even like a Triple H and Rock stare down to build off, the whole Rock and Ronda Rousey thing that just happened. No, nothing at all. Nothing with The Rock, nothing with Triple H, nothing with The Undertaker or Sting. Like, I just felt that this Raw, although a really good episode, there was that big moment missing that keeps us buzzing, that keeps us talking, being like, oh shit, that just fucking happened. You get what I'm saying? I just felt there was something missing from this week's episode of Raw after WrestleMania. That's just my opinion. I don't know. What did you guys think about this week's episode? Comment down below your thoughts on this week's edition of Monday Night Raw. I personally thought the episode was enjoyable for what it was. It was a fun time. The crowd was really live and active. But other than that, to be honest, I just felt there was just big moment that I'm going to talk about for years to come missing. That's just me personally. But what did you guys think? Comment that all down below. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at ChaseAuber68. Check out my WrestleMania review if you haven't already. I'll see you all next time. Enjoy your day. Peace.